Why, good morning, evening, or night, depending on when you are viewing this. This is the Dead Film Society. My name is Spencer Lee, and I am your host. Today, we are sitting with our two very special guests, Armon McConnel over here on the far end. And right here we have Alex T. I'm not even going to go for the pronunciation of the last name. Sorry if I disrespected your name.
He's good.
So today, we're having a very intense conversation, and I want to get reactions from you guys. What comes to mind when I talk about these things? So in Hollywood and in kind of like mainstream forms of media, there have been very specific allegations of sexual harassment and sexual assault between kind of like these figures in the media, and I want to know from you guys, how have these allegations affected, or how are these current allegations affecting Hollywood?
So I think how the current allegations would be affecting Hollywood is in my opinion, it's kind of like ruining it, because like it happens a lot, but the fact that it's happening in Hollywood so often now is really kind of scary, because they're the people who are put on spot in front of everyone, and anyone can see them at any time. They have no privacy, so they should be the ones like doing it the least, I guess.
Setting a positive example. What a crazy idea.
Like, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, kind of. Like, you are already on such a pedestal, you shouldn't probably abuse that power when it's so easy to publicly humiliate you in the way that we're seeing it now.
Yeah. Oof. Very much oof.
Yeah. And hopefully it changes. Like, hopefully all of this, people accusing people, I mean, Armand was saying maybe some of it is true, some of it's not, but hopefully where it is true, at least, it just erases this behavior. Sort of that threat of being publicly humiliated.
No doubt. So, leads me directly into my second question. I'd like to know maybe your thoughts. How, or what rather, do these allegations say overall about modern Hollywood and modern forms of entertainment?
I feel like it sends like a very bad kind of message, because it's like, just because you're rich and famous doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. Like, no one is above the law, and everyone should, everyone should follow the law, and they should not abuse their power. It doesn't matter how much they have. They're not supposed to.
It seems like there's sort of been like an unspoken arrangement in Hollywood up until this point that like this sort of thing happens and it's accepted and everybody sort of knows it happens, but now we're like actually hearing about it firsthand. Like, we're reading about, entire experiences of what happened to women, and I think it's like pretty startling for people. Indeed,
very startling. The thing that comes to mind when you say that, there's kind of this perpetuation, I suppose, of a more or less a rape culture. And I believe through some of the forms of music and other means of entertainment, like television. Specifically, there's a newscaster, Bill O'Reilly, who was accused of assaulting a female, and it sends the wrong message. To be completely direct, it sends the absolute wrong message to the children, and I think that it is completely unacceptable that these things are happening, and that this idea that it's okay to take advantage of somebody like that, it really makes my blood boil. It sucks. It definitely does.
Yeah, it is really scary, because like if so many people are doing it and like they're getting put on the spot and all that, it, like you said, it does send a bad message, and it's really terrifying, because like kids who are growing up are going to be like, oh, okay, that's if he does it, or if she does it, then it's okay, and we should do it too, and that's really kind of scary.
Yeah, kids are very I don't know if this is a word. I'm gonna go for it. Indoctrinable. They're like very easily influenced by the things that they see and that they hear. And if they're hearing from figures, such as Kevin Spacey, who was somebody that I actually looked up to as a youngin', not so much now, but it.
Yeah, it's people who we admired. That's what's so crazy about it. Like Aziz Ansari, the most recent. Like I love Aziz Ansari,
Actually,
Master of
didn't
None.
hear about that.
Really?
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's just sort of the most recent one. And like Master of None is one of my favorite shows. Like it's really disappointing.
Yeah. It really does suck though, because it's like you watch them either growing up or like you watch them now, and then you hear allegations come out and you're like, why though?
Specifically, the one that really hit me was Bill Cosby. I grew up, I didn't watch the Cosby Show as a child. I watched, Family Matters and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And, just the fact that somebody in such a high position and somebody so loved by so many people, whether or not it's true, this information is it has an effect, and it's just it's a very hard subject, I think, to really like get to the bottom of anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I did want to say this, that through beyond kind of public figures, I don't really know how to put this. When I was growing up, okay, here we go. When I was growing up, the elders in my life were very respectful and very moral, and based their judgments off of the golden rule. The rule is treat people the way you want to be treated, and I don't think anybody wants to go through something as violent and scary as being taken advantage of physically like that. I really don't know how to segue into a commercial. However, I do believe it would be kind of a good time to get a couple words from the old sponsors. It comes as no surprise that this student
My name is Luis Aranda.
has a passion for creating. Today we are interviewing him on his latest project titled Fiend.
I just took what I love and then something kind of bad, drugs. I have a strong love for reading, so I guess you could call that addiction. The message of it, nothing wrong with reading.
Good evening and hello. Angelo's CDs, that's somewhere I've been shopping for years, ever since I was probably like 6 years old, honestly.
Yeah,
So,
they're great.
Wow.
like 12, 13 years or something.
Tight that they're still around.
I love them. So, diving back into the very murky waters that is Hollywood at the moment. What level of vulgarity do you guys believe should be allowed on television, on streaming platforms, and movies?
As far as television goes, I feel like there should definitely be a set line. Like, if you're gonna throw it up on TV and all that, probably there's the rankings and all that. I wouldn't pass PG 14, I think is what it's called, or TV mature. I wouldn't pass that because TV mature is pushing it, because any kid can just hop on the TV and watch it if their parents aren't there or whatever, and they can be exposed to a lot of bad things. Movies, I think they're doing a pretty good job, because they have strict ratings, and if it's rated R, yeah, whatever. You don't have you have to censor yourself and all that. But rated R movies, since they're clearly labeled, I think they're kind of okay right now. And then streaming, that's a no.
That's a whole nother beast.
Yeah, there's like no censorship whatsoever, and anyone can watch that. So they should really censor that more.
I think there's like definitely a certain irony going on right now of like what you can't see on television, but what's going on behind the scenes in Hollywood. Like we're just like hearing about, like we were talking about the constant allegations. So it's like sexual assault or harassment, however you want to put it, is like rampant in Hollywood, but then you can't like say, I don't know, I won't say it, but you can't curse on TV, and that just feels kind of weird. It feels like there's not really a connection between like what we're allowed to watch and what we're actually doing as a society.
That is kind of strange though, because like you can't do certain things, like you can't, in most things you can't like show women topless, you can't say certain words, but you can like straight up kill off an entire family, and it's like, that's fine.
Right.
But you cannot say certain words, like you can't drop the F-bomb, you can't say any like slurs or any of that, but you can watch some really graphic things.
Yeah, like a worm coming out of like a dead person's eyeball or something, but like you can't show like a butt.
Yeah.
We all have butts.
And not many people have worms crawling out of their eyeballs.
Exactly.
It's a double standard is what it is, I think. Maybe even more like a triple standard if that even exists. It's intense. What I wanted to speak upon was a YouTuber by the name of Logan Paul. I'm sure about 15.5 million people know about him. Just released a video not too long ago about a trip that he took into the Japanese suicide forest. And if people haven't seen the video, in that video that he posted on YouTube, on public media, was a man hanging, and he stood by it, and he did blur it out, albeit not a very good blur, but yeah, just the fact, my niece, who is 9 years old, watches Logan Paul and his brother J. Paul. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. 9 years old. Could you imagine? I'm 20 right now, and like that stuff hits me. Imagine being 9 years old and seeing something like that, or hearing about somebody like Bill Cosby who assaulted many people in a very, very shisty way. It's just wretched. It's hard to even think. Like, I don't want to have kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, in this world,
the Logan Paul thing was almost like an episode of Black Mirror. It was like we've sort of crossed over a line now into this sort of dystopian, like, I don't know, where we'll show anything for entertainment value. It was kind of such obvious clickbait, but so disrespectful to the person who killed themselves and their family. And yeah, it was really surreal, kind of. Surreal moment.
I don't know how anyone can like make a video like that and be like, yeah, this is totally okay for me to post for my 15 million subscribers. Some of them are like, adults and all that, but a majority of them are probably under the age of 13. So you probably shouldn't go that far.
Yeah, whether or not you can is completely different from if you should.
Yeah.
It goes back to one of the first questions we ever had on the show of, where is the line drawn between right and wrong, and treating people the way you want to be treated. It seems so simple, and it seems like such it's things that we learned in kindergarten, that maybe are standards of life that people are just not living up to, and it's sad, it's depressing,
bizarre.
It's bizarre.
We're living through a weird time.
Oh yeah.
Most absolutely weird. It says a lot about the internet. It says a lot about television. It, hopefully gives an insight to some of the younger generations to start talking about these things and to start, exposing what's on their mind and letting this not be okay. Maybe in an ideal world, bringing an end to this. And it's been a great show. Thank you guys very much for
Thanks for having me.